Back to me, I don't have a question right now. All right, Barry.
Talk about pollinators at the end. I have no idea what those are. Please.
Yeah, so pollinators are a huge issue worldwide, and they're an issue because they're in decline. So say you go into the cafeteria and you're stopping at the salad bar, or you're even grabbing some fried chicken sandwich or something like that. One out of every 3 bites of food that we eat requires a pollinator to be produced. So basically, a pollinator, it could be a mosquito, it could be a bee, it could be a butterfly, it could be a moth, birds. They are what pollinates the plant so that they can produce fruit. And that could be a cucumber, that could be a strawberry, that could be a soybean, that could be a tomato, apples, oranges. All of these require some insect or bird pollinator to make the food that we need to eat. So right now what we're facing is a pollinator crisis, where our pollinators, those especially bees, are declining at an alarming rate. There are several farms in this country that are unable to produce the food that we need because they can't get the bees that they need to produce that food. In our state, we have several native pollinators, several species of native bees that are also in decline for 2 main reasons, and those are habitat loss, so loss of prairie, loss of native plants, and then our increased use of pesticides that are now being known to kill our needed pollinators and kill our bees.
Okay. Devin, I'm going to come back to you after 2 other students to sort of be thinking ahead that you need to ask a question. So, Rachael, we'll go next. We'll go to you next.
Can I pass this camera now? Sorry.
Are you passing? Oh, you're passing the camera, yeah. Go ahead. Try not to put your fingers on the front of the camera. It should say recording. All right.
Rebecca?
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to know more about the rain gardens.
Oh.
I've never. Because I've never really.
Yeah, so rain gardens are one of the many options for stormwater best management practice. So what that means basically is instead of rain coming off the roof, going down these eaves, and then being siphoned off into the roads, which how many of you have driven on the roads around here when it's raining and you almost stall your car? Yeah, that's stormwater management issue. So instead of the rain being shunted off into the street where it can cause flooding, it basically comes down through a pipe and enters the rain garden. So it's capturing rainwater, and these native plants help the water soak into the soil instead of flooding the streets. And the way they do that is our native prairie plants, instead of having a root mass that is about this long, like our turf grass does, they will have roots that could be anywhere from 6 to even 20 feet long. And you can imagine how much that helps water filter down into the soil instead of flooding our neighborhood.
Okay. Owen, you want to go next?
You said fixing social justice issues, but like specifically you want to do that?
I didn't hear the question.
You said you want to do plans about fixing social justice issues. What like specifically would you want to do?
For example, like I'm not as well versed in social justice issues as I would like to be. So a lot of this is a learning process for me. But one thing that I'm really interested in for next year I want the major theme to be food. And again, I'm going to continue the minor theme of pollinators because they're so closely tied. I'm particularly interested in the idea of food equity and food deserts. So we have several neighborhoods, even in Cedar Rapids, where fresh, healthy food is not an option. People may have to go several miles or dozens of miles before they are able to find a grocery store that has affordable and healthy food. And that type of transportation is not always possible. So when we start to look at those types of food deserts, then we allow those to occur, we are marginalizing that neighborhood and basically not giving them an opportunity to be healthy in their lives, which is going to increase their healthcare costs. It often can decrease their mental health and emotional health along with their physical. So I'm really interested in food equity and making Cedar Rapids and looking at food equity worldwide. Who gets access to healthy food and how can we make that equal for all?
Okay.